Hey everybody, this is Dr. Cindy Trim inviting you to join me at the National Women's Virtual Conference. I'm going to be joining Minister Joyce Fletcher and the Church of God of Prophecy family. We're going to be meeting at 5 Birmingham Road in Birmingham, England. And I want you to know that on the 29th of May, 2021, you are going to get unstuck. The theme this year is redigging the wells for the flow of the Holy Spirit, and I'm decreeing and declaring any area of stagnation is going to be unstuck. So get ready for your favor to flow, opportunities to flow, ideas to flow, wisdom to flow, healing to flow, your money to flow, the anointing to flow. Join me there. God bless.
Some people have seen where God has brought you from. You don't really understand it. They don't know your story.
You don't know
the things.
Good evening, Jex family, here in the UK and all around the world. How are you all doing? I'm feeling amazing today. How are you guys feeling? Welcome to Michelle Hemmings' Organ Donation Life Stories. I have a special guest today. Her name is Hilaria Asumu, and we have been friends for a couple of months, and I am so glad to have her on my show. So, I know she's waiting eagerly behind the scenes, but before I let her in, I just want to say thank you to the Almighty God, to my donor, and to the Royal Papworth Hospital for my special gift of life. As you all know, I had a single lung transplant 3 years ago, and I am so blessed to be here. Now, our guest is behind the scene eagerly waiting to come on, so let's bring her on. Hilaria.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, welcome. Oh my
Thank
gosh, you
you.
look amazing today. Thank you for coming on my show.
Thank you very much for having me.
And how you doing?
All right, not too bad. It's been sunny today, so I've been out and about, but yeah, really good.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Now, you know I got a whole heap of questions to ask you this evening. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay. All right, then let's start off by, can you introduce yourself and tell our listeners and our viewers which part of the UK you live?
So, hi, everybody listening this evening, and thank you for having me. My name is Hilaria Asumu. I am the chair of the Warriors, Survivors, and Heroes BME Kidney Network, and I set up this charity after I got my transplant in 2018. I'm also an ambassador for organ donation, and I speak at different events and even online about organ donation, telling people about my kidney journey and how organ donation has saved my life and given me a second chance at life. I have been able to see my sisters, my brothers get married, have children, and I'm
Wow.
just so grateful to my donor for agreeing to organ donation, even if in their grief they still had to make that decision. They didn't think twice about it. I am actually based in Manchester, but we look after people all over the UK, but mainly around Manchester and Greater Manchester.
Now, I know you had a kidney transplant. Was that a single or double?
No, it was a single, and that happened because both my kidneys failed. Do you want me to go through my story briefly for people to understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, if you don't
Okay.
mind. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So my journey, my kidney disease journey started in 2008 when I had um, a miscarriage at 22 weeks, which quickly became septicemia and then multiple organ failure. And then I had renal failure, and I was in a coma for 2 weeks. And when I came out of the coma, they told me my kidneys had failed and I had to go on dialysis. I was on dialysis for a short time, and in 2010, I had a miscarriage again at 22 weeks, and again it happened. I had my lungs collapsed. I had to be reintubated, and I was in a coma for 2 weeks. When I came out of it this time, they said, we are not so sure that we can manage you. You would have to go on the transplant list. So that was how my journey started. So for 10 years, I had been waiting for a transplant. I was doing dialysis. Officially on the transplant list, it's 6 years, but I had been waiting 10 years to get a transplant. And in that time, it was a really, really hard time for me, my family, my children, my husband. And my children were 6 and 7 when this happened. My son is now 20, he's 20 next month, and my daughter is 19 end of this year, November. And I'm just so grateful to God and to that mother who lost her child and agreed to organ donation. And that's the reason I'm here today. So that is just a quick stop on how I came to be an a kidney disease patient.
And you're so blessed to be here to see your children grow up and hopefully one day get married.
Yes, of course. I'm looking forward to that. I'm seeing my sisters, my brothers, my friends'
Oh,
children grow
yeah.
up now and get married. And I'm just so grateful that I've been given that chance to see them, grow up and have children of their own.
Of course, of course. Um, okay. So can you tell our listeners, how did you get involved with organ donation in the first place?
Yeah. Well, I got involved with organ donation through actually the NHSBT in 2018, March 2018. That's when I got my transplant. I had just come out of the theater. And my phone rang. It was the NHSBT, somebody from NHSBT, and they said, we were told about you and we would like to ask
Wow.
you if you want to share your story. And I said, of course, I
Okay.
would love to do that. I said, so do you know when you're going to have do you know when you're going to have the transplant? And I said, I just had it. So when? I said, now. I just came out of the theater, and the lady was like flustered, and she said, oh really? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Oh
And you're
my
talking on the
gosh.
phone. And I said, oh, it's fine, it's okay, I can talk, because I was
Wow.
so grateful.
Yes.
I couldn't lie down in my bed. I was euphoric, for want of a better
And
word. It
what
was,
age did I did?
oh, it was as if I was floating, because I hated dialysis. And every
Okay.
patient kidney disease patient who is on dialysis will tell you the same thing. It's putting the needles
Okay.
in, it's sitting behind on that chair for 3.5 hours, 4 times a week, taking the needles out.
Mhm.
It's all everything afterwards. And I cried at every point that I had to go in the hospital to get my dialysis done. And
How long were you on dialysis for?
dialysis was it was for 6 years, because initially I
Okay.
wouldn't count that, because it was a few months, probably about 6 months I was on dialysis. So I usually don't count the 6 months. I count the years after,
Okay.
when I was in
Okay.
dialysis.
Okay.
So I was on dialysis for six years thereabouts before I got
Okay.
my transplant. And in that time, it was I've done all three types of dialysis. So when
Okay.
she called me, I was just so grateful. I was crying, and I was talking to, I still cry to today. I'm holding myself back today. I said, I'm not going to cry today, because I'm known for
Please
that.
don't cry, please.
And that's how I got into organ donation, campaigning for organ donation. And when I came out, they said, would you like to talk about how what you went through, your story? And I said, listen, for that mother who agreed to organ donation, it's a no-brainer to go out there and talk to the Black community, because we never talk about organ donation. We don't discuss
No,
death,
we
we
don't.
don't discuss sickness, we don't discuss organ donation. Even till now
Mhm.
that the new law is out, we still
Yes.
find it difficult to discuss organ donation. And that is why I do what I do right now as an ambassador.
Yes. Thank you. I just want to say a big hello to the GX family. We've just been getting quite a few hellos from them for you and me. So thank you, guys. Okay, so as a sufferer of kidney disease, how do you manage your physical and mental emotional issues?
Physically, I adhere very strictly to the instructions from the hospital, from the doctors. I don't deviate from what they say I should do. Physically, I can't really walk very far because I get exhausted, I get tired. So at home, I dance to, I'm originally from Nigeria. So
Okay,
dancing to Nigerian music is like exercise. So I do that
nice.
indoors as well. So I love to
Okay,
dance. So I do that all the time. So physically, emotionally, it's not easy, but
I know.
working with people from the Black community, it actually helps me to manage myself because I know I keep saying this that I'm grateful, but I'm also grateful to God that I'm alive. I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to do the things that I would normally not do. Most of the time when I was sick, I always used to be in bed because I was exhausted every time. But
Yes,
now I can
I
sit up, I
understand.
can talk, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm helping people, I'm helping them solve problems that they're facing. I'm talking to doctors in the hospital based on my experience of what I've gone through in the hospital. I'm actually helping other kidney disease patients in
Of
Manchester
course.
to navigate the system and understand. I also advocate on their behalf. So that helps me emotionally, mentally, with all these issues. And sometimes I believe in crying when you want to cry.
Of
I burst
course.
into
We're not
tears and
perfect.
cry. When I feel that bad, I burst into
Mm-hmm.
tears. I also have my wonderful, wonderful sisters, my
Okay.
two elder sisters and my two younger sisters. When I feel like talking, discussing, I just call them and speak to them. And then I talk to you, Michelle, as well. You remember when
Cool.
I'm feeling
I'm
down,
here.
I call you and I speak to you and say, Michelle, this is what's happened. I'm so upset, because I feel when I talk about what's happening, I can actually, deal with all the emotional stuff. And,
Yes,
having all of you around me has actually helped me to move on rather than dwelling on an issue. Once I talk about it, I'm okay and it's out the
that's
window.
good.
Yeah.
That's great. Now I know you love your dancing, and I know you're a great mover to Jerusalem. So how are you now? What would you rate yourself? 7 out of 10, 5 out of 10
In terms of dancing,
to Jerusalem routine?
oh, believe me, when I was doing the Jerusalem dance, my daughter used to laugh at me.
Oh, and my daughter.
I got to one stage. I got to a stage, and if you've seen this children's movie, oh gosh, where it's a panda, Kung Fu
Oh,
Panda.
oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
remember when he was climbing the stairs to the top, and he went there. That's what I do. I pant at the top. When I finish, I lie down like, oh, my daughter's name is Roxy. Roxy, could you help me get up from this chair? And she's in stitches, thinking,
Oh,
So no, my Jerusalem dance, no, still a zero.
okay. We're both in the same boat. Sometimes I remember and sometimes I don't. I'm always making mistakes, but it's fun and laughter and you're socializing, so it's a good
Exactly,
time, isn't it?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So tell us about your charity WSH BME network again to the viewers
Yes.
who's listening.
Yeah. Well, the charity is actually geared towards helping kidney disease patients, Black kidney disease patients in Greater Manchester to deal with the issues they have around kidney disease. So we
Okay.
actually provide services like advocacy, advice, support on different issues, employment law, so if they have any issues with their employers, then I'm the employment lawyer, so I give
Okay.
advice, HR issues, benefit applications and appeals. So that is actually in a way linked to the to law, because when they want to go
Okay.
appeal their benefits, usually they don't
Okay.
have people to help them do that. So I actually offer those services to them. We also
Okay.
provide emergency childcare because that was from my own experience. When I was in the hospital, because we didn't have any family around, it was really hard for
Mhm.
my husband, who is a doctor. He was between the hospital, my hospital, the children's school, and the house. So I thought that there'll be other kidney disease patients who are in the same situation. So we can
Yeah.
actually provide those services to them so that they can actually, be in the hospital and not worry about what's happening with their children at home. At least they know somebody's there to look after them. So which
Okay.
BME looks at also educating people on kidney disease, how it
Okay.
comes about, how it affects people, and what to do in those situations. We talk about transplant as well, because a lot of people don't have any
Okay.
idea how the process for transplant goes. So they're usually confused. So we put all of those out. We get doctors from the NHS, Black doctors from the NHS to work with us. I belong
Okay.
to a group of Nigerian doctors. Since my husband's
Mhm.
a doctor, everybody assumes that you're a doctor as well. So when I
Ah,
call, they're always willing to come on,
okay.
to come and work with me. So I do get them on the show, and that show holds every bi-monthly events on
Okay.
our platform called Air Meet. So that's what we do in a nutshell.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great. I think we need more of you around. There's not a lot of us around, is there? That help other people that need in trouble, who need advice. But
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so how and why did you set it up, and how does it differ from other organization charities? I know you do other areas that a lot of people don't do, but is there any other areas that you do as well?
Well, other charities, it differs from other charities because other charities just focus on education, magazines, they set up
Yeah,
events, and stuff like that. But it's not really about that. It gets tiring. So I guess because I have a lived experience, I can actually, because the people who are in the other trustee in the charity, she's
yeah,
a dialysis nurse. So it's all the issues that I have. I have post-transplant diabetes, which is like type 2, but it's not
same here.
really. Yes.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
most people don't know about that. Most people don't know about, how to apply for PIP, personal
Yeah.
independence payment. Most people don't know because when somebody's diagnosed initially, it's a
Mm,
shock to the system. They don't know
of
what to
course.
do. They don't know how to navigate the system or who to talk to. And
Yeah.
usually, hospitals sometimes just assume that you know. And with the coronavirus affecting everybody's lives all over the world, not just us,
Mm-hmm.
you find
Mm-hmm.
that you can't even go to the hospital or set up anything for people to understand how it works. So that is why we put up our events so that people would understand. Other charities might say we would help you with benefit applications, but they're so big that they don't have
Yeah.
that one-to-one connection with the people that they support. And it's a one-to-one, not just a connection, but also that one-to-one support that when someone is talking to you, you can actually see that they're going through a lot, and you can deviate
Definitely.
and talk about stuff and then refer them on, because we try to affiliate ourselves with other charities because we're not experts in every area. So we
Okay.
try to see if we can refer them to other charities that can help them or other organizations that can help them. And because of my background in HR and employment law, I have that reach. I can also reach out to my husband, who is a doctor, and say, can you help with this? So sometimes it could be
You're
taking
so
phone calls.
lucky to have a doctor in the family.
Well, everybody got involved, because of me, because they saw
Okay.
me being ill, they saw me being very sick. And my daughter was actually helping me sometimes to do my dialysis. She wants to be a
Okay.
doctor now, and she's volunteering with
Okay.
another charity. Obviously, she can't work with me because she's my
Um,
child. So she's gone, and
yes.
she's also an organ donor. She signed up as well. She signed up
Oh,
when she
brilliant.
was 16.
That's
So it's all those.
fantastic.
Exactly. It's not just, we don't just work with kidney disease patients, we work with their families. So
Okay.
sometimes there's a housing problem, and the family are close to being on the verge of being homeless. We take it over. We speak to the council. If there's any legal issues around it, we take it up and we make sure that that housing is provided for them. And we don't give up.
Okay.
We're relentless. So
That's
that's what we
great.
do. Yeah,
No. I like how you understand the person's needs, or you may signpost them to other areas. That's what I like.
exactly.
Yeah, I like
Yes.
that very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've been through it myself. So if you've been through
Cool.
something and you've been through that experience, then other people who don't have that support, when you have
Mm-hmm.
it and you have the connections to actually help you to put that in place, then it's just to use it for people's benefits so that they're not there sitting down and thinking, where do I go? And it can affect them mentally. People don't know that having kidney disease affects you mentally. So it's actually really, we need to start thinking, about each other and try as much as
Definitely.
possible to make sure that people are well looked after, especially kidney disease patients.
Definitely. And that's why it's so important that families have that conversation. Don't you
Yes,
agree? Yeah.
exactly. Families have to have that conversation when they sign up to be organ donors. And it's something I preach all the time as an ambassador for organ donation. I encourage people to sign up to organ donation because there are a lot of people from the Black community on the transplant list, waiting for that call, waiting for that hope bringer who can give
Cool.
them a second chance at life. So I encourage people to sign up to the organ donation register so that they can be hope bringers to those people waiting. But it's not just about signing up, it's about letting the people who are close to you, your friends, your
Of
your your
course.
close friends, your family, let them know that you're signed up to the register, so that if the person is in that situation where they cannot make that decision on their own, their families are aware that they have signed up to the register, to the organ donation register, that
Of
they
course.
want to be an organ donor, and they would fulfill their wish. So leave them certain.
Oh, definitely. Have that conversation and leave them certain.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay. So, how do you raise awareness amongst the Black and the Asian community?
But I raise awareness in different ways. So before the coronavirus, it was physical events, and I used to I talk to people, even if they're on the streets. Customer service advisors call me and they say, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" And I go, "Yes." Are you an organ donor? Have you signed up to the organ donor register? And
Okay.
they said no. So I then go into my talk. I don't make it too long. I said, I just want to have 2 minute talk with you. How would you
Okay.
feel if you need an organ? Would you accept one? And I wait for an answer. Usually the answer is always yes. And I say, okay, if
Hmm.
your answer is yes, why would you not sign up to be an organ donor? Why would you not
Yeah.
donate? So this is the time for you to donate, or sign up to the organ donation register, so that when you die on that day, the doctors, your family would know, so that when the doctors approach them to say, would you agree to organ donation, they would say yes, without anybody protesting and saying no, we don't want our relative to be used as for their organs to be used for to as a transplant to help other people. So
Yeah.
do have that talk. It is really important. You could do that with neighbors. You could, because most people
Yes.
don't even know that they can sign up and their families can veto their decision to be organ donors. So when you sign up, have that talk. I can't stress it enough. Have that talk and leave them certain about your wishes, so that when that day comes, it's not going to be very hard for them to make that decision on your behalf.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we've only got a few minutes left. And if
Oh,
anybody out there's got any questions that they'd like to ask Hilaria anything or myself, please put it in the chat box. Or Hilaria, can you give out your contact details just in
Yes.
case, please.
So my contact details are scrolling at the bottom, but I'll just tell you the website is wshbmenetwork.org.uk. Our Instagram page is WSHBME Network. Our Facebook page is Warriors, Survivors, and Heroes. If you don't know what that means, in the kidney disease community, people who are warriors are people who are fighting kidney disease. Survivors are people who've received a transplant, and heroes are the people who have donated, whether dead or alive. So that is why I call the charity Warriors, Survivors, Heroes, BME
I
Kidney
like that.
Network. Yes,
I like that.
and you can find me on Twitter on WSHBME Kidneys. So anyone you follow me on, if you have any issues at all, our email is hello@wshbmenetwork.org.uk. You can reach us on any of those, and I'm always happy to speak to anybody who has any problems. If you want to find out anything at all, whether about kidney disease, organ donation, about the operation, about living donation, I am willing to answer them. Any questions you might have, or any issues you might have anywhere you are in the UK and you need support, and you're a kidney disease patient or related to a kidney disease patient, then you've got our attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Could you just give out your contact details one more time and any last messages to the audience, please?
Okay, so my our IG Instagram page is WSHBME Network. Our Twitter page is WSHBME Kidneys. Our Facebook page is Warriors, Survivors, Heroes. And our email is hello@wshbmenetwork.org.uk. Our website is wshbmenetwork.org.uk. And one last message to everybody.
Thank you.
Don't think that you are alone as a kidney disease patient. There's help out there. And for people who are having second thoughts about being organ donors or signing up to the organ register, if you would receive a kidney or an organ when you need it, why won't you donate? When you do sign up to the organ donation register, please speak to your family about it. Tell them your wish and leave them certain. Thank you.
Thank you, Hilaria, for being on my show tonight.
Thank
and
you.
like we keep on saying to everyone, have that conversation with your family, with your friends. So when that time comes, at least everybody will know your decision. So our last word for you is to leave them certain. Please have that conversation with your family. Thank you, Hilaria, for being on my show.
Thank you.
And thank you to all the listeners out there. And I will see you all next week on Michelle Hemmings' Organ Donation Life Stories. If I can just leave you with one inspiring quote. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. And that's Philippians 4, verse 13. Thank you for being with us, and we will see you next week. Thank you, and bye, Hilaria. Bye. Thank you.
Some people have seen where God has brought you from. You don't really understand it. They don't know your story.
You don't know my story. You don't know
The things. Some people have seen where God has brought you from. You don't really understand it. They don't know your story.
You don't know my story.